Good morning, Mark Sutt with HurricaneTrack.com here with your hurricane outlook and discussion. Special tropical storm Hermine coverage. 9:22 in the a.m. Eastern time that I am recording this. This will be the last of the screencast style discussions that I will be doing for a day or so maybe. Everything else is going to be on the road kind of thing, and I'm going to be live from the vehicle. And so I did want to come in and at least do one more thorough discussion about what's happening with the storm. Latest satellite animation shows clearly that it is east side weighted, lopsided. The center is probably right in there somewhere, but the worst of the weather is to the east of that center. However, when I see this outflow start to expand like that, that tells me that once the center gets up here and gets under that umbrella, so to speak, it could start to intensify even further and become more concentrated and better defined. We'll have to wait and see if that in fact comes to pass. The what was this? The 8 o'clock advisory package for the current position, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern. But the overall forecast track, that doesn't change until the 11 o'clock package. But basically, this is headed for the Florida Big Bend area. We know that. It's you folks here in the southeast part of the country, Georgia, the Carolinas, and then possibly up to the mid-Atlantic. This could be your storm too, and you need to be preparing for it, at least mentally. Okay, I know something's coming. Maybe I won't drive to wherever, because the torrential rainfall, you think about it, I-95 cuts right down through this area, and I-10 across here, and then I-75 roughly. A lot of people are probably going to be trying to travel over the next few days for Labor Day weekend, and this is going to be problematic. So please be careful if you're traveling. Pay attention to this. It's not just a tropical storm. It's a large weather system with dangerous hazards. And I don't say that to hype it up at all. It is. And for most people, it won't bother them very much that this is coming through and affecting. But for some, it'll have a significant impact. And I can't tell you who those people are going to be. We just don't know that, obviously. So everybody in the path of this needs to be aware and use common sense. I want to talk about the hazards affecting land one more time. Obviously, the wind gets a lot of headlines, and we could have hurricane conditions reaching the coast tonight with tropical storm conditions coming in early this afternoon. Storm surge, though, continues to be my biggest fear, and for the people down here. Luckily, it's in a fairly sparsely populated area, but that doesn't mean nobody lives there. And looking at some of these areas, Destin to Indian Pass, 1 to 3 feet, and then Indian Pass to, however you say that, 4 to 7 feet, and that's a pretty large swath of the coastline, and then 2 to 4 feet south and east from there, and then Tampa Bay area, Bonita Beach, 1 to 3 feet. Now, all the way up on the east side of the southeast United States, Florida, Georgia line to Cape Fear. Cape Fear is in North Carolina, folks. We're talking 1 to 3 feet of surge. And the Georgia coastline is very vulnerable, as is the Carolina coast. So this is important, and people need to be paying attention. Rainfall, 5 to 10 inches with 20-inch amounts not out of the question. 4 to 8 inches with locally 10 inches across portions of eastern Georgia, South Carolina, and eastern North Carolina through Saturday. And then the threat of isolated tornadoes. All right, so these are the different hazards. We need to be paying attention to this and make sure that common sense prevails. I want to talk a little bit about the population areas. If the center of the storm comes into Appalachia Bay here, you think about all the people at Lake City over here, Gainesville, maybe Ocala, some of these bands coming in as far south as Tampa, and then Jacksonville, Brunswick, and then moving on up the coast into the Carolinas, Savannah in Georgia, and then Charleston in South Carolina, Wilmington, all down the road from this system and up the interstate. All right, so it's going to affect a lot of people, and I cannot emphasize enough the importance of just on top of it. Check in with weather.gov, put in your zip code, learn the local effects for your area, what to expect, and then as it goes on up the coast over the next few days, possibly affect Outer Banks, and maybe after that even the mid-Atlantic states. We'll just have to wait and see how all that shakes out over the next few days. So I'm going to be out and about over the next who knows how many hours. I have one camera set up already in St. Mark's, and you can check that out. The link to it on the HurricaneTrack.com homepage, and it's also published in our app on the blog section. The link to that, there's no live video in the app, but I do post recorded videos like this one, of course. And I'm going to set up another camera in a little while here in Cedar Key, Florida, and then wait out storm. I'm going to try to get back to St. Mark's to put an LED light to illuminate the storm surge mark that I have in place. So there's a lot going on, basically, and you can follow it all live. Just go to the HurricaneTrack.com homepage, and everything will be right there to click through and view everything as happens. And again, if you're using our app, Hurricane Impact, be sure to refresh those pages. Hit that little circle button thing, pull down the video page to refresh it, because I will be posting video blogs throughout this event. All right? Mark Sept with HurricaneTrack.com in Lake City, Florida. Thanks for joining as always, and I'll talk to you throughout this event from the road.